Welcome to 3600 Seconds. I'm Tyler Martinez.
I'm Richard Curry.
And I'm Austin Kaiser. Natural gas has been drilled and extracted since its discovery in the United States in 1821. In this year, the first well specifically intended to obtain natural gas was dug in Fredonia, New York by William Hart. After noticing gas bubbles rising to the surface of the creek, Hart dug a 27-foot well to try and obtain a larger flow of gas to the surface.
Hart is regarded by many as the father of natural gas in America. Expanding on Hart's work, the Fredonia Gas Light Company was eventually formed, becoming the first natural gas company in America. The use and demand for natural gas has increased dramatically since the 19th century. Today, hundreds of drilling companies search for gas deposits and use it for heating, lamps, and electricity.
Today we will be investigating the drilling of natural gas in North Texas. Natural gas is traditionally found in reservoirs underground. Over time, plants and other organic life forms died off and were covered in new layers of rock. Under thousands of feet of rock, immense heat, and millions of years of time, gas is formed. It seeps up through porous rock layers until it cannot pass through anymore. Once it hits a non-permeable rock layer, it gets trapped. And this is when a well can be drilled and the gas extracted.
However, these conventional deposits are depleting. A new and more recent method has been developed to extract gas that could not have been done with older methods. It is called fracturing, or fracking for short. The gas is inside certain types of shale rock. High-pressure liquids and chemicals are shot through the rock, leaving holes where gas flows through and into the well. This new method became very popular in the North Texas region, for the large deposits of shale found in the Barnett, a large underground geological formation that was created millions of years ago.
First, what do you know about natural gas?
I know it is an inexpensive way to heat, cool, and fuel our houses.
And about the drilling process?
I know currently they are doing a lot of drilling in Texas and Oklahoma.
And do you know what fracking is?
Fracking is how they get the natural gas out of the ground and how they break up the ground to get it.
Do you know about the negative effects fracking can have on the environment?
I've watched on the news and I noticed in one area, and I don't remember what state, that there's a leak of the natural gas into a whole community's water, and it's making them ill from leaking into the water.
Do you think that North Texas should expand, reduce, or keep this current amount of drills?
Wow, that's a hard one. I think they may want to keep what they have until they do more research into the safety factors of it.
And have you ever felt worried that our water could be contaminated, or you could feel the negative effects?
The more I hear on the news about it, it has become more concerning.
I don't know what question to ask for you to talk about Oklahoma, but just go and we'll edit it in.
Okay. So I'm from Oklahoma, and I know currently they are doing a lot of fracking in Oklahoma. Many people that I know that live in Oklahoma think that the current fracking caused the earthquake that happened a few months ago. I do know it also has boosted the economy in Oklahoma that is in a really devastating economy right now. So those are things I know.
In your opinion, which is more harmful for Coppell residents, jet plane fumes or side effects from natural gas drilling?
I feel like they're both probably very dangerous, but seeing as we have an airport nearby, I feel like the jet planes would probably be a bigger concern.
Do you know how many drill sites are in Coppell?
I do not. One, two, maybe three?
Have you ever seen one?
I don't think so.
Have you ever felt worried about the possibility of water contamination from a natural gas drill?
I hadn't thought about it, but now that I do, it definitely could be a problem.
What do you know about natural gas?
I know that it can be dangerous, and that the Barnett Group down in Houston is a major supplier for Texas, and that you drill into shale rock to get it.
Do you believe that North Texas should expand or stay the same or reduce their natural gas drilling?
I think we should probably stay the same and pursue alternate, more safe, like wind technology to get our energy, because energy crisis, gas prices are going up, and I feel like we probably need to invest in alternate sources.
What are your thoughts on the fact that the EPA has had reports of water contamination in certain communities? However, they have failed to act or make any restrictions on natural gas drilling.
I feel like that really shows how dependent we are on natural gas. Is that the FDA you said? EPA would grant them restrictions and not follow through on that.
Hello, Kyle. So, in your opinion, which is more harmful to Coppell? Jet plane fumes or side effects from natural gas drilling?
I'd go with jet plane fumes just because I feel like they're around more than natural gas. I've never heard of natural gas really affecting anyone.
Yeah, great answer. Do you know how many drill sites are in Coppell?
No.
Have you ever felt worried of the possibility of a drill site malfunction or water contamination?
I have not.
Have you ever seen a well in Coppell?
I have not.
What do you do in the oil and gas business?
I'm a petroleum engineer, have a degree from Texas A&M, and I've been involved in drilling and producing oil and gas for the last 30 years.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Porter, how many drill sites are in Coppell?
Well, a drill site is actually where you see the derrick, the drilling rig, the tall thing that you see. So I don't know that there's any active drill sites in Coppell, but there are active natural gas producing wells that have been fracked in Coppell.
Dad, what would be some of the economic benefits for increasing oil and gas drilling in the Dallas Metroplex?
Well, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, the main thing that's produced is natural gas from the Barnett Shale. And natural gas is the cheapest, cleanest, easiest way to produce electricity that we have in the United States right now. You can get a natural gas turbine up and running and producing electricity much, much quicker. They're readily available. It's current technology, and it's the lowest emissions type of fuel that we have. The economic benefits are great amongst not just the people in the oil and gas business, but the people that are in the business hire folks. They have to pay taxes, they buy groceries, they buy cars, they rent apartments. So the impact in the economy filters out through all factors or all pieces of the economy.
As a Coppell resident, do you ever feel worried about the possibility of a malfunction at one of the wells causing water contamination?
You know, I think the first well was drilled in Coppell in the 90s. There was 2 wells drilled off of Sandy Lake Road over towards 121. Now there's a number of wells, some on Bass Pro Drive and a bunch by Fellowship Church. And to be honest with you, I'm not worried about the contamination of the water at all. Frankly, the noise and air pollution that we get out of DFW Airport is probably 100 or 1,000 times greater than anything we've had from any of these wells.
Dad, can you give us a brief summary of the fracking process?
Sure. The very first thing you have to do is drill the well. And you drill the well down to where the water table is, or the aquifer. And then you put pipe inside the hole and cement that so that the water zones are sealed off and that they're protected. Then you continue on drilling down to where the natural gas is. You put another pipe in and concrete that. Use small explosives to cut holes, like a shaped charge that goes in through the pipe and in the concrete and into the gas-bearing formation. And then you pump water and sand down at super high pressures, and it cracks the rock. And as that water and sand goes out, it fills up the cracks with sand so that the crack kind of spreads out, and then this is filled with sand in there, and that increases the permeability and allows the natural gas to flow back through.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Dad, what would happen if, while fracking the well was not properly concreted while the fracking process was happening?
Okay. When you're doing the fracking process, every instrument and every pipe are all monitored so that you can monitor the pressure and you know the amount of fluid going in and the pressure being injected. Obviously, the deeper you go, the higher amount of pressure it takes to crack the rock. The aquifer being up high, if something happened and the frac started going into the aquifer, it would take a lot less pressure, so you'd immediately see that, and you would see the frac going away at a lot less pressure, and you would stop the process. Now, for the sake of argument, if some did get into the aquifer, the amount of chemicals, harmful chemicals in a frac, typically a frac's 1 million gallons of water, and you might have 100 gallons of harmful chemicals. So you're talking about 100 parts per million in the water you've injected, not counting the water that's in the aquifer itself. So even with some chemicals getting into the aquifer, the concentration of chemicals would be greatly dispersed. And as the aquifer flows, you would even become more and more dispersed. So there may be some localized amount of contamination, but as the aquifer flowed and cleaned itself up, over time the concentrations would become less and less.
1, 2, 3.
Mr. Porter, do you know of any risks specific to Coppell or North Texas referring to fracking?
Well, I mean, there's risks in any kind of enterprise. I mean, an airplane could crash in Coppell, or, lightning can strike. The biggest risk that I think you have when you're fracking is that there's typically 30 or 40 trucks driving, and they'll come in and out, and you could have a car accident or something. But there's been over 20,000 wells drilled in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex in the last 5 years. All of them have utilized natural fracking, and you're not really seeing a lot of complaints around. There's from time to time, some monitoring of little air pollution here or there, but a lot of that's transient because of work gets done one day, and the next day those trucks leave, and then those air pollutions will leave. So, as a systemic threat, I do not believe there is one.
Dad, what are some of the environmental regulations that you have on drilling sites?
Well, most of the environmental regulations we have, the state of Texas has the Railroad Commission, and they take care of monitoring when you're drilling and completing a well. And if that well happens to be inside a city, then the city has regulations as well in terms of how far it can be from a house or a structure or a road. So there's all those rules and regulations. With respect to hydraulic fracking, the companies that actually do the service, as an oil company, you'll contract with a fracking company, and they are the ones responsible for all their material handling, and that's where you have the issues with the EPA in handling, proper storage, handling, and disposal of the fracture fluids. Now, after the frac process happens and you've injected all the water and sand into the formation, then you have to flow the well back, and this water comes back. The sand stays in the formation to prop it open so that you have the permeability channel, but a lot of the water comes back, and that water is caught in catchment apparatus and then hauled off in trucks, big tanker trucks, and taken to a licensed disposal site.
All right, Mr. Porter, well, I think that's all the questions we have. Thank you for taking time today to talk to us.
You're welcome, and thank you all for listening and hearing both sides of the argument.
While fracking is innovative in the way it combines two old technologies and benefits the economy with large amounts of natural gas, it can also harm the environment when fracking chemicals leak into aquifers and other water sources. The chemicals are frequently mishandled and disposed of not properly.
Natural gas burns much cleaner than other fuels and could provide America with energy for many years to come, but sometimes the side effects of drilling can outweigh the benefits. Be sure to know your facts when natural gas companies come knocking on your door, and decide for yourself whether your community will benefit or be harmed by natural gas wells.
That's all the time that we have, and thanks for tuning in to 3600 Seconds.